I'm going to take you to a paradise where thousands of birds flock together during summers, and a paradise where your cottages are bang in the middle of a water reservoir and you get to see splendid views from your cottages. You are in for a treat as I take you through the lives of the River Terns of Bhadra. The Bhadra Reservoir stands silent and calm as though none of this is happening in its lap. We cross the reservoir viewpoint and proceed further on towards the jungle lodges and resorts. Hi, I'm Chitra and you're watching Masala Box Travel. This is yet another video on review of jungle lodges and resorts. Today we are at Bhadra Tiger Reserve and we are here to review River Tern Lodge. As along with it, we will also follow the life cycle of the river terns and take a safari through the Bhadra Tiger Reserve. The River Tern Lodge is present almost in the middle of the Bhadra Dam reservoir, and from the lodge itself you get to view the Bhadra reservoir or the dam. The gates were of course closed on that particular summer. The River Tern Lodge is actually between two islands, or there are two islands in this reservoir, and on one side of the island is your reception and log hut kind of cottages, your restaurant and so forth. And then you have these kind of paths that take you to the other end of the island. Once you cross the hanging bridge, you reach the other part of the River Tern Lodge. Technically during monsoons you would see water under this bridge as well, and that's why it looks like there are two different islands. But in summers like this, where it's quite parched, there's no water under the bridge, and if you are lucky, you might get to see some elephants standing underneath. But before I take you on a room tour, I'm going to take you to see the river terns. At first, I did not know what to expect from this boating. Would it be similar to the ones we have at Kabini Backwaters, where we would get to see egrets? Maybe river terns would be in the numbers like that of egrets. But then I was in for a big surprise. We hear a small humming in the distance, and that humming turns louder and louder as we approach this islet. During the summer, the water in Bhadravathi reservoir recedes, and then these small islets pop up, portraying something like a dry land. And the river terns gather here in huge numbers. I was totally not expecting it to be in such huge numbers. I thought maybe 50s or hundreds maybe, but this was in thousands and thousands of river terns are flocking in these islands, and they are here finding food, mating, making babies. And once the monsoon strikes, these islets would be covered and the river terns would be gone. They are pretty much all over the place. Wherever you are turned, they are nesting, because I went around May beginning. So they arrive sometime by March. So March to May and a fag end of June, you'll be able to see the river terns in such huge numbers. They arrive by March. They then do their mating ritual, and you can see the babies. Even in this video, you can see the babies running around. And once the babies are grown well enough, they fly out of the place. The younger ones are not spared from ospreys and Brahmani kites that you see often flying around. But the moment they sense a danger, they duck themselves into these holes, which is the nest of the river tern. River terns have a very interesting mating ritual as well as feeding ritual. You see this one, it has dived in and got the silver fish, which is known as Bilchi, but it comes to the shore and then washes this fish multiple times as though it's giving it a good bath. But what it is actually doing is it softens that fish and then it offers to the mate. If the female accepts it, it quickly mounts her. Um, and yeah, that's how the kid comes. This is also the way they feed the kids too. So all these river terns you see on the edge that looks like they taking a bath, it's actually they are dunking this fish into the water so that it becomes nice and soft and easy to eat. This experience was more than what I was looking for in this boat ride. I never thought first that there would be so many river terns. Then I got to know about their mating story and how do they feed. This is truly one magical place. River terns are not the only residents of the Bhadravathi reservoir. In this backwaters of Bhadravathi river, you see kites, lot of egrets, snakebird, and so forth. So something similar to what you would see in Kabini backwaters as well. And we also see elephant herds on the bank. If you are lucky, you might get to see tiger. But this lone male was having a very good bath, followed by moisturizing his skin with the sand. And then at a distance, we got to see this calf as well. So a lot of people come in just to take this boat ride as well. You don't have to stay in the resort to take this boat ride. Just before you come to the viewpoint, there is a counter where you can get tickets for this boat ride and then arrive at jungle lodges so that they take people on this boat ride to view this spectacle. The sun was setting and our boat man knew exactly where to take us. We all wanted to see more and more of these river terns flying around, creating the magic, suddenly dashing into the Bhadravathi river and fetching a fish, or flapping their wings over the Bhadravati river. It was truly a beautiful sight to see. And our boatman knew exactly how to park the boat, and all of us had this most memorable sunset that's going to linger in our minds for quite a long time. So you can do this as a half a day excursion. Come view the Bhadravati viewpoint. You can see the reservoir. Take a boat ride and then watch this spectacle, because if you're anywhere close to Bhadravati and if you're not watching the river terns congregating at this point, you're missing out on something really big. Back at the resort, let me take you through a room tour of the River Tern Lodge by Jungle Lodges and Resorts. So one thing I want to warn you of this property is there is walking and walking and there is lots and lots of walking. So come prepared for it. So they have two kinds of rooms. One is a log hut, the other is cottages. The log hut is closer to your reception and your restaurant, it is on this side of the island. And now we are crossing the hanging bridge, moving on to the cottages, which is on the other side of the island. So obviously this is an island and this has all these walking to be done. Here we are at our cottage. Jungle lodges pretty much have a similar standard in the way they set up their rooms and cottages. So this cottage was also looking similar to their Nagarhole or Kabini and Bandipur kind of cottages. It had 2 beds and a divan, a sit-out area, a sofa or chair to put your things, a cupboard, study table kind place. Then there is kettle, coffee, AC, definitely no TV because that's the essence of coming into jungle lodges and resorts, and a very well spacious room. Again, like other jungle lodges and resorts, this is also per person cost. So if you're a solo traveler, it's gonna cost you a bit, additional 30%, but otherwise it is charged as per person. But the view from this room, oh my god, the moment I walked in, this does not even look like a summer because there's so much greenery all around this room. And after your safaris or after your boating, it was lovely to just sit by this balcony and soak in all these views. In my opinion, the log huts also have this view, cottages also have this view. The cottages are slightly bigger than the log huts, but the log huts also have proximity to the reception and restaurant. You don't have to walk so much. So it's up to you to decide on which kind of rooms you want to take. Jungle lodges never disappoint on the food, and this place had some interesting dishes. They had spinach raita, beetroot raita. Every day was a feast, and vegetarians need not have to worry at all because most of their menu, nearly 80% of their menu is on vegetarian, and you also have some non-veg dishes on the side to enjoy. So if you are on a diet or health conscious, this is the best place to eat. With the sun rising up, we are following the Bhadravathi river with the hopes of finding a tiger. So we are heading towards the Bhadra Tiger Reserve, and you wouldn't believe this is a peak summer, something like May. So the Bhadra river has made this whole place so fertile. You'll see farming all through the way. Be it driving towards Bhadra or even driving towards this tiger reserve, there is farming done all round, which gives so much greenery to the place. I was quite surprised to see so much of farming done so close to a tiger reserve. There is definitely trenches which separates the reserve from the farms, so that you can avoid the human-animal conflict. But I was quite surprised at how much of land was on farming, because typically in buffer areas you wouldn't see so much of farming owing to animal conflict. I stayed for 2 nights at the River Tern Lodge, so I get to take one boat safari and three jeep safari, or two boat safari and two jeep safari, however way I would request. So what I did was I took three jeep safaris with the hope or to maximize my chances of catching any big cat in the forest. Um, and this is quite a huge forest, the Bhadra Tiger Reserve. Uh, Not much crowded, that's the best part, and the whole place is very raw. The jungle is quite thick. It is, uh, when I say raw, it is, totally offbeat, including the stay where we were. Unlike other jungle lodges like Bandipur or Nagarhole, this one was totally blended with the nature. Not that Kabini or Bandipur is any less. I've been there many times and I love these resorts. But the location of Bhadra is such that you are right in the middle of nature and you're surrounded by nature at all times. Bhadra Tiger Reserve as well. You see how dense it is. At most of the places, it's this dense with deciduous trees. We occasionally stumble on elephants. This was one such herd where they just stood watching us, and suddenly the other elephant flapped the ears, and that's when I was able to spot it. It was only when they walked by I could see the smaller one. They had a sub-adult or a growing calf to be precise. They crossed the road and moved on while the bigger matriarch decided to walk on the road, giving us a show for quite some time. We then arrived at this point where we heard an alarm call, so we stood for a while. At that point, even the Malabar squirrel was giving an alarm call, which is very faint in that video. But nothing came out. Probably the predator sat after some time without moving. We will never get to know what happened there. We arrive at the bank of the backwaters, again looking for some action. We couldn't see the elephant herds that we saw from the boat. Bhadra is mostly deciduous, like some portion of Bandipur you would see like this, but it's mostly dense. So unless the predator comes on the road, it might be difficult to spot, or if it's on the bank of the backwaters, then you might have good visibility of the predator. The day closed and we had to return to our camp. Evening they played the movies and they also served drinks at this restaurant in Jungle Lodges and Resort. So we got to see the tiger finally. This was the proof that Bhadra does have tigers. I do see recent pictures posted by JLR Instagram page on tigers. Hope to see it next time. The morning drive was as pleasant as usual, and we came to this point where we again heard a strong alarm call. And then we saw this pair of mating deer at the banks. Apart from that, no action. We didn't see leopard or tiger in these three safaris. Um, but that's how safari luck is. Hope to see something next time. The food was exceptional here. I love this breakfast. They had something like this sweet yellow adda and a spicy savory yellow adda. Apart from that, they were stacking up dosas along with your continental breakfast choices. I mean, we were spoiled for choice. Absolute delight to have food at JLR. So River Terns Lodge, since it is on the Bhadravathi backwaters, they have some water sports also on the other side of the resort. So we are walking down from the restaurant to the water sports area. So these are the log huts I was talking about. You can see it on either side of the restaurant. They are anyway facing the Bhadravathi reservoir or the water with the mountain kind of landscape. So even if you take the cottages or these log huts, I don't think you will miss out anything on the view. It is only the room size that you will have to consider. Okay, now let's take the steps to the water sport area. for all the food Jungle Lodges and resorts feeds you, um, this resort is perfect for eating and going up and down the stairs. This water sport area was pretty well done. They take you on boat. I mean, you can take the pedal boating or do kayaking, just swimming, lays in the water. They have kept jackets, as well as there's a person monitoring people playing over here. Even otherwise, you can just take a book, come and sit here, because this is flanked by mountains on all the side and the reservoir is right in the center. This was very scenic to be at. With that, it was time to bid goodbye to River Terns Lodge. I wish they could port me also like how they are porting their luggages from one end of the island to another. Apart from all the walking, I definitely enjoyed the view and the River Tern life story. I hope you enjoyed this video too. There is other reviews for Kabini and Bandipur down in the comment section. Do check it out.